everyone, welcome to Quiltster Tutorials. Today we have something really special to share with you. We're diving into a brand new pattern available on quiltster.com called the Woven Friendships Pattern. This pattern was designed by Renee of My Beste Quilt Company, who is a new designer that we are super excited to represent and welcome into the Quiltster family. Today we're going to cover how to purchase the Woven Friendships pattern, how to create a Woven Friendships project in the Quilt Planner by selecting your own fabric, and finally, how to purchase the fabric for your Quilt Planner project. So grab a cup of coffee or tea and let's get started. First things first, let's talk about how to purchase the Woven Friendships pattern. Head on over to quiltster.com and navigate to, let's go to the Quilt Planner and then Quilt Patterns. And since this pattern, we don't actually sell it on our website, but we send you to the place where you can purchase it. So let's go ahead and do that. So under Quilt Patterns, I can search for the name of the pattern here over in the search bar on the left-hand side. There's lots of different filters in case you want to search by designer or size or whatnot. Since this pattern is not for sale on quiltster.com, I'm going to make sure the products I can buy toggle is toggled off, which looks like this. And that is exactly what you will see when you go to the Quilt Patterns page from the Quilt Planner section. So let's go ahead and type in woven here. You can type in one word or the whole pattern name, and it pulls up everything with woven in the title. So Woven Friendships is right here, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, there's some information about the pattern, the size, the designer, and right here it says Get Pattern from Designer. So let's go ahead and click on that, and this will take you to a new location off of our website. And this particular pattern is purchased through the shop Off the Rails Quilting, who is a partner of Renee's. And there you can purchase either the downloadable version if you just want to go ahead and print it out and get started, or you can get the physical pattern shipped to you from this shop. So this is all taking place outside of Quiltster. So if you want the pattern, you can go ahead and do that there and then go back to quiltster.com. If all you wanted was the pattern, you're all set. However, you can also customize the pattern by choosing your own fabrics for a project. So let's walk through that process next. Click on the Create Project button, and that will open a little window for you to select a template to use as a base for your project. Some patterns have multiple options. This one has the one. So let's go ahead and click Create Project and give the project a name. Click Create Project, and this will take you into the Quilt Planner. Now here's where you can start customizing the pattern. The first thing you want to do is select the pattern, which will activate it. And once it's activated, that means it's ready for fabric to be added. And you can tell which part of the pattern has been activated by looking at these little hash lines or these stripes. Some patterns have multiple block options, so you can activate different sections of the pattern. This one, we will activate the entire pattern and click Edit, which brings us into the block editor. Now in the block editor, on the left side of the screen, you'll see the pattern, and you can scroll up to zoom in and scroll down to zoom out. And that's really helpful, especially when there is a pattern with little pieces that you need to activate. And right now the background has been activated, and you can tell because it's showing in that slash, in these slash lines. But you can change which piece of this quilt is activated by clicking on other sections. And as I click around, you can see those slash lines are changing to activate different sections of the quilt. And as those change, the fabrics in block here on the right-hand side will also change what is selected. So here is every section of the quilt with the ID. So I can also click on these to activate a different space as well. Fabrics and quilt will be a running tally of all of the fabric I use once I start adding fabric to the quilt. And then all fabrics is the fabric stash that you can select fabric from. So let's go ahead and open the filters by clicking on the little 3-line hamburger menu here. And with this open, since I know that the project I want to create is one that I'm going to want to purchase through quiltster.com once I'm finished, the first thing that you need to do is toggle on the products I can buy button. And what this will do when I click it on is it's going to filter out all of the fabric that I cannot purchase through quiltster.com, and what is remaining is all of the fabric that I can purchase. So we do have a lot of fabric in our fabric stash that is not purchasable through our website, but may be purchasable. It might be out on the market, it might be in a local quilt shop near you, might be on another website. But everything that we have for sale, we sell through a quilt shop partner, and this is what their inventory is. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and filter. Let's go to Moda. I'm just going to select a fabric company, and I'm going to select a collection from them. And I happen to know we have lots of stuff in here for you to choose from. I would like to use, I believe, Bee Garden is the one I want to use. And when that is filtered, what shows here is that collection. So this is Moda Bee Garden, and if I click more, it will continue to fill that collection until I can see everything that's available. So this is that entire collection. And I'm going to go ahead and collapse this filter just so I can get more of the fabric onto my screen. And now we're going to start adding fabric. So the first thing you want to do is come over here to the left and select the piece of the fabric, or excuse me, the piece of the quilt that you want to start editing. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this piece, which you can see all of the corresponding pieces in the color group. And that is where the fabric will go once I click it over here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this dark one here. And then I can click off of that to see how it looks. Let's try a different one. I'm going to click it again, and I'm going to select a different fabric, which will just replace the one that I had selected previously. So now you can see this fabric is here. So there's the fabric. Let's zoom in so you can really see the fabric with the little bees. Okay, and once I have that fabric placed up here at the top in F1, you can see my fabric selection. And in Fabrics and Quilt, this will be a running tally. This is really helpful for quilts that have multiple blocks that you can activate. Or if you're flip-flopping through several collections, instead of having to navigate back to reuse the same swatch, they'll be up here if it's in your quilt. So that's why this is helpful. So let's go ahead and add more fabric. I'm going to select this next piece here, and I think I want a yellow piece of fabric. Let's try that one. That's cute. We like it. And let's go ahead and that's as easy as this. And you just select a piece, and you select a swatch, you select a piece, and you select a swatch. And let's do the stripes, or you can come up here and click on that, and it will activate the strips, actually strip, not stripe. Let's make that the same fabric as I used previously. So I can select this one here, and it will drop it in. And last but not least, let's do the background. Let's do a solid background. Now, up here, oops, I zoomed in. Let me zoom down, zoom out. Up here, you can see each of these spaces has a piece of fabric in it. So when patterns have tiny little, let's say they have a tiny spot or maybe some applique or lots of flying geese, it's very easy to look up here and see if you've missed something or if it already has fabric in it. So that's a nice way to make sure you've got everything covered. And then we're going to click Save and Close, and we're going to wait for this to save our changes. So we know this fabric is for sale. Let's make sure there's enough for our project. So what I'm going to do is go over here to yardage, and this will show me each fabric and whether or not it's available. Now what you're looking for in here are green inventory icons. So either the purchasable button or the low inventory button, that is the triangle. Now what this means is there's plenty, you can buy it and there's plenty of it. The green triangle means you can buy it and there's plenty for your needs in this project, but we're running low. So if you like it and you know you want this project, go ahead and get it when you finish your project. This is also where you can add backing and binding. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to do backing in the green, and there's plenty. And let's do binding in the pink, and that's plenty. So if you see any other inventory icons, and there's 5 total, they are all listed up here. If you see anything that is not green, then that means you need to find something else to replace it with. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now, even though we don't need to, because everything that we want is available and there's plenty of it. Let's pretend like this first one, there's a yellow icon. And what that means is we have it, but there's not enough to meet this project's requirements. So you need to choose a different one. And the way you would do that is just click on the image and it brings up the fabric stash. And then you can select a different fabric. And let me choose something that is really obvious. Let me choose this multicolored one. And what it will do is it will replace that fabric everywhere in the quilt with the one that you select. So you can see it changed my image, it changed over here. I don't actually want that one, so I'm going to change it back to my pretty little, see which one was that? That was this one. There we go. So once you verified inventory is available and you put your backing and binding on this yardage chart, you can go ahead and close it. And then now we're ready to purchase the project, or excuse me, we're ready to purchase the project. So remember, since the pattern itself is not purchasable through quiltster.com, you would need to do that from the pattern page. But the fabric you can do right here from the Quilt Planner, and we're going to click add to cart, and what this will do is it will add everything into the cart for you. So here's your project, and it has the name of your project, and then underneath is a list of everything that's included with the price and the quantities. So here's a great place if you wanted a little bit extra fabric, you can change the quantities here. Once you've checked everything, you can go ahead and proceed to checkout, and that is where you would enter your shipping address, and then they would give you any shipping fees on that page, enter all of your payment information, and so on. So let's go back to the Quilt Planner and let's go back to the dashboard. So on your dashboard, this is where you can find all of the projects you have created. I'm going to go ahead and go into my projects. And here's the project we just created. Now, if you want to print a list of the fabrics that you used, go ahead and go to this little 3-dot menu and click Print View. And this will pull up a nice image of your project that you can click on to expand and make bigger. You can even zoom in. It will also give you the yardage chart, and you can print this out. And there are 3 views: by fabric, which is just the total of each fabric; by block, which is the fabric plus the block identification number, which is helpful if you have the pattern on hand; or by group. So however you want to view your fabric, make sure you toggle to that view first and then come up here to the print button, which lives underneath the picture of your project, and click print. And then you would continue to print this out. So you've got your project on the first page and your yardage information starting on the next page with the view that you've selected. So this one is by block. And then you just whatever, you can save it as a PDF and download it to your computer. You can actually print it out, however your printer settings are set up, and then that's how you print that. If you are shopping at your local quilt shop and you see a fabric on their shelf that you really like, you can see if it's in Quiltster. And if not, you can take a picture of it with your phone. There are other tutorials for how to do that. Upload it into your account and put it in your project to see if you like it. And then you can actually share this page with a local quilt shop or anybody you want to. And you just send them this link here. So this little icon is a link. You just click it and you can paste that into an email. And what they will get is a copy of this exact page. They can't change your project, but they can just see the image and the yardage chart. So that's a nice way to share a project with somebody to see if they have the fabric, or if you just want to share it with somebody. And last but not least, let's go ahead and go back to projects. Let's share this to the public gallery. So the My Projects page, only you can see that, but we want to share this with everybody. So let's go ahead and go back to this three-dot menu and say Share Project. And what this will do is share your project to the public Quiltster gallery. So I'm going to say Share. And what that will do is now this project has a little shared flag on it so that I know which projects I have shared. But if you go to the gallery page, there it is. And anybody can come onto quiltster.com and look at it. And what they will see when they click on it is the image of your project that, again, they can click to expand. They can see which pattern was used to make this design, and that's it. They don't get your yardage chart, but everybody can see. Now, what we'd love for you to do from here is go ahead and click Facebook, or you can just grab the link to this page and share it on Facebook or wherever you like to share on social media. And please tag us at Quiltster Inc. so that we can see and share your projects and your designs on social media. We'd also like you to tag the designer at My Beste Quilt Co. And I'll put that in a social media post for you guys to see. But that way she can see what you have done with her designs. And there you have it. You have learned how to purchase the Woven Friendships pattern, how to create a project in the Quilt Planner, and how to purchase everything you need for your project. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned something new. If you haven't subscribed to quiltster.com, I invite you to do so now to join in the fun. And remember, every quilt tells a story. The best ones begin with Quiltster. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.